Yo, what is up, family? Welcome back to the Urban Concrete. We are the foundation of the streets, the pulse of the culture. And today, we got to talk about the main character of the dating world. We talk about the one, the only Lori Harvey. Now, look, for years, Lori been out here playing the game at an elite level. Like, she got the cheat codes to the whole industry. But the streets are whispering, and the data is starting to look a little different. Is the wall finally closing in? Is the contract queen running out of signatures? We're about to dive deep into the timeline, the psychology, and the cold, hard facts of how the game is shifting. Let's take it back to where the momentum was at an all-time high. October 2019, the internet basically broke. Why? Because Lori was spotted with Future. This was right after she finished things with Diddy's son, Justin Combs. By January 2020, they were cozy in Jamaica for her birthday. By summer, they were traveling the globe. But check the play by August 2020, they unfollowed each other, and Future was already putting the split into his lyrics. Now, most people would need a year to recover from a toxic king like Future, right? Not Lori. In less than 90 days, she was already traveling for Thanksgiving with Michael B. Jordan in November 2020. By January 2021, they were Instagram official. This was a massive shift. We went from the street king Future to America's sweetheart, Michael B. Jordan. This is where the analysis gets deep. Lori Harvey isn't just dating. She's branding a lifestyle. Her whole vibe is built on a specific mantra. If a relationship isn't fulfilling, move on. She's gone on record saying if it doesn't serve her, she's out the door. This lingo is powerful, y'all. We've seen other women in the culture, like Tia Mowry, start borrowing that same language. It's a no-settle policy. Men have been multi-dating for centuries, but when Lori does it with elite, top-tier men, it flips the script. She's been proposed to twice. Michael B. Jordan reportedly wanted to put a ring on it, and she said, "No, I'm good," and kept it moving. That is high-level confidence. Some call it queen behavior because she has the courage to leave a relationship that has 3, 4, or 5 years deep if she's unhappy, rather than staying for the sake of the title. After 18 months with Michael B. Jordan, they split in June 2022 because they were at different stages in life. 6 months later, enter Damson Idris. December 2022, they're in West Hollywood. January 2023, he's kissing her on the cheek for her 26th birthday. It was the same playbook. Public appearances, red carpets, vacations. But here's where the argument starts to shift. By fall 2023, they reportedly split. Usually, Lori is one and done. She doesn't spin the block, which for the uninitiated means she doesn't go back to her exes. She doesn't renew the contract, but hold up kindly. On September 18th, 2025, Lori and Damson were spotted together again in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. This is the pivot point. This is unlike her past moves. If Lori Harvey is spinning the block, what does that actually mean? Here's the argument. Is she being reduced from the main attraction to a side chick or a placeholder? Just the other day, paparazzi caught Damson hanging out with other women right after being with Lori. For a woman who is 28 and in her prime, who usually has the world at her feet, going back to a guy who is exploring other options is a sign that the armor is breaking. Let's look at the why behind this. Think about Terrell Owens, one of the greatest to ever play for the Niners, Cowboys, and Eagles. T.O. was a freak athlete, fast and strong. Teams put up with his personality because his production on the field was worth more than the headache. But eventually there's a tipping point. There came a time when T.O.'s production didn't outweigh the problems he brought to the locker room. He could still play. He ran a 4.40-yard dash in his late 40s, but nobody wanted to sign him because the net positive was gone. The argument here is that for elite, wealthy men, Lori Harvey might be reaching that TO stage. When you're young and have high upside, men will deal with the "it's all about me" attitude. But as time goes on, men look for a mate, someone who knows how to sacrifice and build together. Relationships and businesses aren't built on everything serving you. They are built on mutual sacrifice. Let's analyze the language being used here. The contract. The sources say she doesn't renew these men's contracts. This is a very corporate, transactional way of looking at love. It's urban professional language. It treats a relationship like a 10-day NB, a contract or a brand deal. But here's the cultural reality. In the relationship economy, your value isn't just your beauty, especially when you're dealing with the top 1% of men. Men like Michael B. Jordan, Future, and Damson Idris have high rebound value. They are rich, their prime lasts longer because of their status, and they can find a new 22-year-old version of Lori every year. When Lori starts bending the block, it suggests those other doors to elite men aren't opening like they used to. If she doesn't adapt her game from me-centric to partnership-centric, she risks falling into the same trap as other icons like Amber Rose, who was the it girl of the 2010s, but eventually saw the spotlight fade as the game changed. So, what's the lesson here from the urban concrete? You can be a queen, you can know your worth, and you should never settle for less than you deserve. But you also got to realize that the game of musical chairs eventually stops. If you're not adding value beyond your aesthetic, elite men who have all the options in the world will eventually look for someone who is easier to deal with and love. Lori Harvey is 28. She's still beautiful, still connected, and still a force. But the Porto Vallarta trip with Damson shows us that even the most confident players have to switch the game up or risk being down bad. Like we've seen with other celebrities who didn't adapt. What do you think? Is Lori Harvey still the blueprint? Or is the wall finally starting to crumble? Are these men just waking up? Or is Lori just tired of the chase? Drop your comments below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and stay tuned to the Urban Concrete for the realest analysis in the streets. We're out.